career, even though he finished as a state runner-up in that event in 1978. He says he was known as a relay guy because relays were worth more points than individual events back in the day. He would run 48-second quarters and sub-2-minute halves while anchoring some pretty impressive Waterloo East quartets during his high school career. Running the mile at the 1979 state meet was something that really came along by accident for Todd Peverill. This was before co-ed meet, so East coach Jim Miller moved personnel around at the district meet to keep Todd fresh and still score as many points as possible. The district schedule did not allow enough recovery time for Todd to run the 4x8, the medley, and the 4x4, so they entered him only in the mile and the 4x4. The state meet schedule, however, would allow for that to happen, so the plan was for him to run those 3 relays at state for maximum points and scratch out of the mile. Peverill had anchored East medley and 4x4 teams to Drake Relay's titles just a month earlier. Well, we all know that things don't always go as planned, and neither the medley nor the 4x8 qualified to make the trip to Drake Stadium. But Todd did qualify in both the mile and the 4x4. And they say things happen for a reason, and that seems to have been the case in the spring of '79. Once Peverill knew he would have only 2 events at state, he became very focused on the mile, not only wanting revenge for his photo finish loss the year before, but because the Des Moines Register did not mention him as a contender, siding instead with defending champion Mike DeMent of Hoover and Matt Trimble of City High. Waterloo had not been mentioned to be in the hunt for a AA team title either. At the end of the first lap, Peverill moved from 5th to 2nd and settled in on the shoulder of leader Mike Cupp from Valley. He surged a couple of times in the next 880 yards trying to take control of the pace, but Cupp would have nothing of it. His coaches had told him to wait till 100 to go before executing his final kick, but Todd couldn't wait that long. With visions of the 1978 loss still in his mind, he threw it down as he approached the 3rd turn, and the field had no answer. The mile run in the 1979 state meet is the event that Todd Peverill became known for. His winning time of 4:13.65 was the large class state meet record until it was broken last season, some 35 years later, and still ranks number 4 all time. Todd was a team player. Rather than basking in the glow of being a state champion, he came back 30 minutes later to run 48-1 as the anchor of East State winning 4x4 relay team. Their winning time of 3:18.09 still stands as number 6 all time and was a large school state meet record for a number of years. And oh yeah, for icing on the cake, Waterloo East won the AA team championship. Peverill had a very successful cross-country career at East as well, finishing 3rd in the state meet as a junior and 8th as a senior. He started his collegiate career at UNI and finished at Nebraska Omaha. At one time, he had all of the UNI freshman records in cross-country and the distance races in track. In 1980, he led off UNI's winning distance medley relay team at the Drake Relays. He was conference runner-up in cross-country in '79, leading UNI to a team title. UNI went on to finish 4th in the Division II National Championships, and Todd just missed garnering a medal. He finished 26th, while the top 25 earned All-American honors. Not all athletes make good coaches, but Todd Peverill has proven he could do both with great success. He has been the assistant boys track coach at Glenwood for 20 years and has coached a state champion in the 3200, along with 2 state champions in the high jump and 3 Drake Relays champions. In 16 years as the head cross-country coach, he has had 5 conference championship teams, 5 state qualifying teams, 9 state qualifying individuals, 3 state medalists, and 1 individual state champion. Todd has won a number of IATC awards during his coaching career and is very active in our organization, coordinating the individual cross-country rankings and helping to recruit athletes for the IATC Senior All-Star teams. Todd has been married to his wife Lou, a former UNI track manager and his longtime assistant cross-country coach for 31 years. They have 2 sons, Kelsey and wife Amanda, and Colin and wife Diamond. They are the proud grandparents of 2, soon to become 4, grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2013 IATC Hall of Fame inductee, Todd Peverill.
Thanks, Mike, for that great introduction. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for my selection into the Hall of Fame. My parents and family and some friends here that joined me tonight. I started my career in running in middle school, and you know, a lot of times people say, you know, coaches make a difference, and a lot of the coaches, I know great coaches out here, you guys do, because in 7th grade I was out for track for 1 week and I quit due to a bad coach. Fortunately, my teammates, the following day after I quit, I did tell the coach I quit. Glad I did that. But they convinced me to come back out. And those teammates were the ones that helped us win the state meet 6 years later. And due to them, they helped me survive the 7th grade year. The following year, we got a brand new coach and assistant. And due to his great motivation and saw my talent as an endurance runner, national endurance runner, he was able to keep me going. And he started my career, which I thank him. And that was Ron. I'll get to him. But I started running in the era where junior high was 7th and 9th grade. 7th graders could only run 400. They ran a 400, that's all the race that they could run. 8th grade, it was the 800, and if you ran 800, that was it. 9th grade, the mile, and that was it. So for the middle distance and distance guys, middle school was not very good for you, because they not only did you were limited to that, there was no 2-mile event, and there was no junior high cross country. So it was very difficult for the young distance guys to get it going at that time. Fortunately, well, in high school, you could run 3 events and only 1 field event, or 3 field events and 1 running event. And due to not being co-ed, it was very difficult for the distance guys to run more than 2 events due to the time frame, because in most meets we're over in less than 3 hours. So you didn't have much recovery time. And it's great as a coach now that we have the co-ed, because it allows the distance guys to be able to run 4 events, which is now we can do. So that was a great thing for the co-ed to get started. The relays were 10 points, intervals were 7. So the strategy for the coaches back then was to load the relays and then try to get as many points individually with your 2nd or 3rd best runner. The tracks were 440 meters, 440 yards, cinder. And I remember that when the talk was about meter tracks, we said, oh, that'll never happen. Well, now it happened. The all-weather tracks were just starting to come in. And the belief was that it would eliminate all wet weather condition cancelizations. Well, as we find out, that hasn't happened either. I ran on only 3 all-weather tracks, 1 in Dubuque, 1 in Fort Dodge, and the red Drake Relays track. And now it's blue, and that's the big thing is, you know, I ran on the blue track, and that's a goal for all the athletes. But back in my day, it was red. Waterloo East, you might consider theirs an all-weather track, but it was asphalt with a little coating on it, and that was it. And I found out that they still have the same coating, and it was falling apart back when I was running on it, and it's worse than that now. So my senior year, the Drake Relays, they ended up putting a flat spot on the north curve to change it to 400 meters. So we knew the 400 meters were going to be coming, and that was going to be the standard for the track. Also, there was only FAT at the Dickinson Relays and at the state meet in Drake. Stopwatches. Stopwatches had sweep hands instead of digital. And that's the reason why back in the day, they always rounded it up, because you couldn't really tell a 100th of a second on the digitals, the sweep hand, on the sweep hands on the other watches. But now with FAT, they can take it down to thousandths. And sometimes the world record is now broke by 1,000. So that's a big improvement there. In 7th grade, like I said, I went out, and 1 week I quit due to a bad coach. Teammates got me back, and that was probably the biggest thing in my life that made the difference. And coaching is just unreal. If you're a strong coach, you're going to help your athletes out through the years, and you never know. You might get an athlete like myself that'll become a Hall of Famer. And on my 8th grade year, we had assistant coach Mudd. He helped me through a mile, and he wanted to know what I wanted to run, and I said, never tried a mile in my life. And the school record was at Bunker Junior High was 5:28, and I said, well, I want to run 5:28. He said, okay, I'll pace you through the half, which we had a 320-yard cinder track. And so you had to run 5 laps. He took me through the 880, and he dropped off, and he sat back behind me a little bit, and he cheered me on, said, keep on going, keep on going. And then he dropped it. The final lap, I looked around, he's on the sideline yelling at me, and I didn't know if he was excited for me to get there, or he just couldn't finish with me. But I ended up running 5:24, breaking the school record, or would have broke the school record. In 9th grade, I ended up running 4:51, and which set the Waterloo Metro 9th grade record. And at that meet, the Waterloo East High head cross country and track coach Jim Miller came up to me, and somehow he found out I was Catholic, and he said, he congratulated me, and he was all excited. He said, are you going to Waterloo Columbus, or are you coming to Waterloo East? And I said, I'm going to go to Waterloo East. And he shook my hand again, and he said, son, you just made my day, maybe my year. So the assistant coach for the Waterloo East was Obie Sadler. He was our middle distance coach, and with their talent and patience and knowledge as a sport, they were able to get me up to the level of where I was, being able to accomplish what I did in high school. Went on to college. I fortunately had Len King and at that time grad assistants Bucky, I call him Bucky, Chris Buckman, who is now the Arkansas head coach. He was before that he took over Len King's job at UNI. Great coaches. I remember the first day that I went to track practice at Waterloo East. We walked down a set of stairs, and up on the board was two 4x8 sheets of plywood, orange and black letters with all the school records. On that board, one record stood out, only because one was an event that I loved to run, the mile, but the year, it was 1927. Coach and I were trying to figure out exactly what the time was. His memory and mine aren't quite on the same, but I believe. Yeah. But it was, I think my memory's better than his on this one. It was 1927. I do not remember the guy's name. When I walked in the door, it was 50 years old. It was 4:28. The world record time at that time was 4:10. So I'm thinking, wow, this guy was a stud. And thinking, what type of shoes and what type of training did he do? Because, back then, who knows how heavy those shoes were. And, spikes started off with people driving nails through the sole so they could run with spikes. And I just couldn't believe it. And I said, I'm going to break that record. And that year, I ended up at the state meet taking, I think, 6th in the state in the mile, and got tripped up, did 3 somersaults and landed in stride. I ended up breaking the school record that year. And then the following year, I broke it again, and then my senior year again. So, As my record now is 30-some years old and quickly coming up onto 50 years, and I hope that the next athlete that comes through Waterloo East will think the same way as I did when I saw that record when I walked through the doors, and hopefully he'll have great coaches like I did to accomplish that. So once again, I thank everybody, the committee and stuff. Oh, I got one more thing here. Coach-athlete relationships are so important, and many times they're lifetime. Coach Miller and I try to go fishing every year, and just recently he decided that it was okay for him to show me some of his secret fishing holes on the Cedar River for walleyes. Yeah, well, he takes me to these holes and he says, well, this is where I catch the big ones. Well, we catch a lot of walleyes, but never any big ones. So I think he's holding out on me. So maybe now he'll show me where the big ones are. So thank you for the committee for this, and thank you parents and family for showing up and support me. And coaches, keep on coaching. I mean, we got some great coaches here. You do make a big difference. Keep up your good work.